What is going on, guys? It's Dan the Man, aka Daniel's son, and this time around we are talking James Gunn's DC's new film, Suicide Squad. Now, this is 2021 Suicide Squad. We're not talking about the Suicide Squad that was directed by David Ayer. That one starred also Margot Robbie. That one had Will Smith. This one has Idris Elba. Now, we are spoiling this. This is dropped on HBO Max. It's in theaters. You can actually, there's early showings on Regal Cinema where I'm at. So happy that HBO dropped this not at midnight like usually, but they actually dropped it around about 4 or 5 p.m. or about 5 p.m. my Pacific time. So I got to watch this relatively early and now have this review for you. So spoilers all around. I want to talk in and out, the things I liked, the things I didn't like. Right off the bat, after watching it, I'm giving this an 8.5 out of 10. I can't go 9 out of 10 and I can't give it a 10 out of 10. But I think a lot of this film works, and I really get a sense of, at first in the beginning of this film, I thought this was kind of like an Edgar Wright kind of film. You know, it really, James Gunn is, he has different flavors from different directors and different films I've seen, but he also has his own flavor. Then when you really get into the film, and I've noticed this a lot with James Gunn's films, when you get into the film and it keeps moving along, you just really feel that spin that James Gunn is well known doing. He's really good at making us like characters. The humor is not all the time on point, but most of the time is. He brings a lot of flair, a lot of risks, but I think the risks are worth the award. And I know a lot of films do risk a lot of stuff. Like they try things, right? They go out there, they do stuff. But James Gunn is really a master at doing that. He did that for Guardians of the Galaxy. That's why I think Warner Brothers and DC wanted to bring him in to redo the Suicide Squad. Because of David Ayer, even though I want to see the director's cut, and I don't necessarily think it's bad, but there is some elements to it. The casting's really good, and some of the cast comes from there to here. Like, yeah, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn once again. She did, last time we saw her was in Birds of Prey. I actually liked that film. I didn't think it was the greatest, but I thought she did really well in there, and I thought it was a lot of Deadpoolisms going on in that film. While here, it's actually a little bit of a different kind of Harley. I guess it's not as wacky and it's not as Deadpool as it could be. I'll get to Harley in a minute, but and then you got also Captain Boomerang coming from there to this film. I knew right from the get-go when they first introduced the team, right? You have Pete Davidson in there. You have Weasel. You have Rourke in there. Yondu, Mary Poppins, y'all. And you had what is the Detachable Man? You had Rick Flag coming back from the David Ayer one. He's looking a little bit more healthier. He's looking a little bit more brighter in this film. I was a little disappointed though. I thought honestly he would be a little bit. I still came away from this film feeling the same way I did with Rick Flag from the David Ayer version, because I still, even though I didn't necessarily hate him in the other Suicide Squad film, but in here there was nothing to warrant me going out and buying collectibles from this guy. You know, he did his job. Joel, whatever his was it McKinnon? Is it Joel McKinnon? There was another film I saw him in. He was really phenomenal in, but in this film he does good. I think everybody does good. The acting is really, really good in this film, which I really appreciate, because you could not take this really seriously, but I think James has he's similar to Quentin, where anybody who jumps on Quentin Tarantino's films, they automatically want to give them their all. Right, they want to kick down the door, they want to kick ass for this director, they want to kick ass for this leader, and I think that's the same thing with James Gunn. Whoever is on his films, they want to kick ass for him, and they want to try their best to make the best film they can for him and for everybody that's in it. So, so I thought Joel did a fine job. I didn't think his character when he died, I did feel a little remorse for it. I did feel like, damn, they killed Flag. I'm not shocked, But I kind of, if they were to make a Suicide Squad, I would call it I guess it would be two, since it's kind of like a soft remake on this one. It would have been nice to see if they could explore him and Idris Elba's relationship, because they did know each other. I would have liked to see that explored, but they killed him off, and it is what it is. It was a nice little fight that he had with Peacemaker, John Cena. And I love the idea of using John Cena's helmet and like really showcasing the fight on that. It went a little bit too long, but I thought that shot was phenomenal. I'd never seen it, and I never really seen it anywhere else, or if I have, it didn't last that long. So, so I already knew that first squad was gonna die. There was the decoy, and then Idris Elba's squad was going to be like the the main squad. So seeing Captain Boomerang bite the dust, seeing like all these other guys who bit the dust. Weasel was pretty funny, how he jumps and he goes in the water, and it was like, did anybody like do any research to know that this dude can't swim? So I thought the humor elements really worked on there. I thought that team, it just kind of sucked to see Captain Boomerang already gone, because that was like one of the probably characters I did like on the last film. I mean, didn't overly like, but he had potential, and that potential is now gone. I think that's the only gripe I have with this film, is the potential of some of these characters that get squashed. So it's kind of the same thing of like villains. So Marvel does it a lot, right? Marvel will kill off their villains, but there's so much potential there to bring them back and make them better than ever. But they can't, because they're dead. And that's the same thing with Suicide Squad. Now, don't get me wrong. I think there is warrant to a lot of these deaths. It makes sense. As a fan perspective and wanting going forward, I would have liked to see Polka Dot Man survived and no more, man. I mean, he's a very interesting character, and he really is. It's a character I want to see explored more, not in a solo film, but him coming back as a squad, in a squad. And there was like them addressing David Ayer's film. It's kind of like, it's wink, wink, hint, hint, because Harley and Boomerang know each other, and it seems like they've been on more missions a couple times. So it's kind of wink, wink there, but it is kind of like a soft reboot, and it's kind of like, it is kind of its own thing, I guess. But it doesn't hurt. It's in the back of your mind in the beginning, but then you kind of forget about everything as you move along through the film. So I think James Gunn's direction in this is pretty fantastic, man. I think I would tone down a little bit of the slow-mo. Him and Zach seem to be good buddies on that. But the visuals were great, man. When Harley Quinn... So here's the thing about Harley. I don't necessarily think Harley should have been in this film. I think that you could have gave it a spotlight to another DC character. You could say Poison Ivy, but I wouldn't even think Poison Ivy. I would think you would want to see what else kind of characters are there that they could bring in. I know Margot Robbie does a good job again as Harley Quinn. It just didn't really... I think I liked her better performance in Birds of Prey. I can't really say I liked her performance better in Suicide Squad. I guess I did a little bit. It was really straightforward on Harley's story on this one. When she gets captured, and then she's that one guy's a romantic and he wanted to marry her, and his whole plan of having all these other countries fear him, and then she kills him. That wasn't very much of a shock. I thought she was going to kill him eventually. I think there's really good scenes with her, though, like her escaping. That was the best part. One of the best parts in the film, and one of the best parts for Harley, is her escaping on her own, using her her agility. They showcased that in the first Suicide Squad when she was in a jail cell and she was doing a lot of she's a psychiatrist, but she has all these great abilities to her. So I thought that whole scene was great, but story wise, I just don't think she brings too much to the table. I love the setups that James Gunn does, with the spear, also the rats, Idris Elba's phobia and stuff. I believe even Polka Dot Man at one point. So there's a lot of setup on like earlier scenes, and then it kind of pays off at the end. Same with Harley. That's Harley's whole thing. I just think that if you take you could have put another character in there. I love the fact that they did showcase that Harley, even though she is on the squad, she does bring something to the table, even with this like outer being Starrio kind of creature. You know, this is a Superman level kind of villain, which I was kind of surprised that there was no Justice League members there. But it's kind of like a Marvel thing. But I don't know. I just felt like when watching the movie, it slows down too when it gets to Harley. I think a lot of the parts before the big action sequence with her and at the end and towards the end, I think it slows down when it gets to her. And it's kind of shocking, right? It's a little bit shocking. So as much as I love Harley, and I think Margot Robbie does a great job as Harley, I necessarily didn't think she kind of belonged in this film. And it kind of baffled me too, because when they were torturing her and stuff, I'm like, you know what? Because when you think Harley, you think of the Joker, and you think of David Ayer and the god awful performance that Jared Leto did as the Joker. But if you think about it, we haven't really had a proper Joker and Harley film. We've had like them like talk about it, flashbacks. It is included like their relationship in stories, but not them two really together. We don't get like a whole movie. Remember when Jared Leto's Joker and Harley were escaping the Ben Affleck Batman? We don't get that whole movie. We don't get that team up. You know, I don't necessarily think when you do a movie with Harley and Joker, you do not romanticize the relationship, because it's a toxic relationship. But you got to show that toxic relationship, and you got to show. When I think Harley and Joker, I think animated series, right? And Harley actually having the plans to defeat Batman, and Joker getting jealous of that. So we never really got a proper movie like that. So I was kind of, I was just thinking that while I was watching it. So I think Harley, even though great stuff, maybe towards the end, it does slow down. Like when we kind of first, after she gets captured and she gets tortured, it slows down. It slows down, especially when she's having a romance with the guy. And it's like more of a, Margot Robbie, Harley Quinn kind of movie, when we're kind of focused on all the other cats that are doing their missions and stuff. I will tell you right now, a lot of people said that Polka Dot Man's their favorite, King Shark's their favorite. You can even say Ratcatcher 2, which she was fantastic. All of them were fantastic. Everybody I named was fantastic. My boy Idris Elba, Bloodsport, my boy Idris Elba. Damn, this guy is smooth, charismatic. I love Idris Elba. He's getting older. It's a damn shame he hasn't done, James Bond. They don't have him as James Bond. He's Mr. Bubbles to me, man. He's Bubbles. The Wild Bunch. Rock and Roller. That's how I know Idris Elba. And I know him from other stuff, but Idris Elba is a star, man. He's so good. He's so good in this movie. Like, this is a character, and I think this is not even a comic book character. This is an actual original character. He made me like him. His mask was dope. It reminded me of like Berserker Predator from Predators. Dude, Idris Elba was great. And I was hoping he wouldn't die during the film. He didn't, which I absolutely love. I loved Idris Elba. I think he was my favorite character in this film. It's hard because, Polka Dot Man was great, but then he died, and I was like, what the fuck? Ratcatcher 2. I like the Taika Waititi as her dad. A nice little cameo. King Shark was great. Really dumb. I actually like my King Shark from the Harley Quinn show, who's smarter, who's a computer tech shark. I like that shark. It would have been great if they had that kind of shark in here. One of my favorites, though, in the film, too, was Amanda Waller. Oh, Viola Davis. Oh, she kills it as Waller again. The best thing came out of that David Ayer was Waller, even though it didn't make any sense in the story-wise. But casting-wise, that's on point. And once again, casting-wise, it's on point. Waller, Davis, probably the best performance in the film. Fantastic. She's I moving forward, you keep her as like, J.K. Simmons as Joe Jonah Janus. That's Davis as Waller. She's just embodies that. When she was looking at her crew after they like fucking backstabbed her and she got hit by a golf club, I thought she's gonna murder these guys. I thought, like, she looked at them like, oh, these motherfuckers are dead. But no, she didn't do it. I was surprised she didn't do it, but fantastic. What else? So there's a lot of positives here. Negatives is some of the little slow motion. Some of the deaths were a little bit like Polka Dot Man. You could have saved him for more future roles. It does slow down like towards the middle, and then it kind of picks up again. There's the beginning action sequence, not from the D-Day kind of beach thing. This is kind of a war film if you think about it. It's the one where Peacemaker and Idris Elba are going to get Flag, and they're taking out all these guys. But it kind of reminded me of Predator too. But they're taking out all these guys, right? And they're not really that quiet about it. And these guys are like watching their comrades. Like I'm pretty sure if a normal person's right there and they're seeing, I'm pretty sure like it just felt like, okay, I'm next. I'm next to die. I'm next to die. It wasn't like realistic where they were kind of like the guns are blazing real quick. No, it was kind of like they're waiting to get killed. It was a little odd. It was an odd cut to me. Yeah, and like I said, visual-wise, one of the visuals was Harley Quinn when she does escape, and you just see all these flowers, and you see a lot of cool visuals. It really felt like a Beatles kind of trip going on when she was escaping, so I really love that. Starro, the Tinker, a little bit disappointed in the Tinker. Really didn't do any. He's just there to lead them, get to the spot, and get killed. So a lot of people are talking about the deaths in here. A lot of people are talking about the gore. A lot of people are saying like, damn, if you're squeamish, like, damn, like there is a lot of death. There is a lot of horrific stuff, body horror too. If you want to go with Starro and what he does, it's kind of like an alien type deal. But that's not like that. I was enjoying myself because I'm like, okay, they're really kicking it up a notch and finally like, going balls deep in this. But it didn't like make me go, oh my god, this is too much. Like, this is crazy. Like, I never seen this. Like, no, like the blood is still CGI. The blood and a lot of people, these people dying. Like, yeah, it's gnarly, but it's not like it really doesn't. You in your mind, I guess you're like, this is fake and ridiculous, but. I'm enjoying myself. It's kind of like Quentin Tarantino when he does like overuse of blood, like in Kill Bill and stuff. You're like, this is fucking crazy. But you're enjoying it because you're like, this is nuts. And like, he's really going all out with the gore and stuff. Cause if you're a rated R movie, you got to go all the way, right? So people going into this like, oh my God, it's like, calm down. It's not that bad. If anything, his past movie Super had a crazy ass death at the end of that movie that I was scarred for about a week, not because of the bloodiness of it, it's the horrific scene afterwards of something bad happening. That goes for the same as this movie called Bone Hawk Tomahawk, and it stars Kurt Russell. You talk about blood, you talk about squeamish, you talk about gnarly, like scarring you fucking for like going out of that theater like, oh my God, what the fuck did I just watch? It ain't this movie, it's that movie. There's a scene at the end of that film, well, towards the third act, that is so horrific and so realistic horror. And there's no music that plays when they start the horrific thing that they do in that movie, and your jaw is dropped and you're like, I should not be watching this, but it's already happening in front of my eyes. That type of horror. This is not the case. This is more of a kind of kick-ass kind of thing where a lot of blood's happening. I would even say a little bit of Blade. Had a little Blade in there where like, people are getting slashed and shit, but you're enjoying it and it's fake and it's just not leaving your jaw dropped like, what? Like, it's not going to scar you. Like a lot of people are saying it's going to scar you. It's not going to scar you. The two films I'm saying, Super from James Gunn, that one death scene, you can look it up on YouTube, and Tomahawk or Bone Hawk Tomahawk with Kurt Russell, that scene. Those are the two that will scar you. So the blood, CGI, good deaths. Really cool deaths. I mean, even though I didn't like the Tinker, role, like he's barely in it, I did like his death. Now, Starro. And this big ass fucking starfish, Patrick looking motherfucker. like I said, it's taking risks James Gunn is really good at. Like the Star is putting out all these like little stars to take over like all these human beings. And once that star gets you and is on your face, you're done. Your life is done. You're dead. They show all the experiments. They show the aftermath. If you rip one of those things off, you are dead. All those people at the end are dead. So if you're thinking like when King Shark is like num 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 num, why not? I mean, they're dead already. I mean, I would like put them out of like misery real quick, and then he could eat them. But and King Shark's eating people. I think that when he rips the Mortal Kombat type fatality was pretty dope. There's lightning in the background because it was raining, then it's not raining. So Starro was. I actually kind of like the color. The coloring kind of remind me of Star-Lord's ship, that kind of coloring. The villain, it's another big ass, devastating roll destruction kind of type finale. I actually would have probably preferred them just to leave. It would have been funny if they, because Idris Elba was like, their job was completed, right? Waller's like, you're done. Don't worry about that. That's their fucking problem. I mean, these guys are technically, fucking, other than, I think, Ratcatcher 2, I don't really remember what Polka Dot Man really did. But these guys are criminals. Like, you do see some of these fucking criminals. And one of them, Michael Rourke, is the one that ran away. I thought that was pretty surprising, but I like that. So I would have liked to actually see them not fight the Star, even though they had to do it in the script-wise, and, you're waiting for it. I would have actually liked them to leave. And maybe it would have been cool to have little cameos. You don't even have to show the full fight. You could have had little cameos of, like, the Justice League taking them on or other superheroes. But of course, villains hard as gold. They gotta fight the fucking Star thing, so they do. I knew that Harley was gonna go right into the eye. Cool visuals once again. I did like how the rats all helped out. So I guess it's nothing though that's gonna blow your mind. It's nothing new. It's just a satisfying kind of ending. You like how everybody band together. You had like this Avengers type Captain America scene with Idris telling, King Shark, nom nom, Polka Dot Man doing his thing. Him visually and everybody as the mom was fucking hilarious. I do like the somber scenes too. They do. There was, I think, the Harley when he was giving the javelin to her or the staff. It was serious at first, and then Harley kind of slaps him, and he's already dead. So there was a little jokiness after that on that scene. But after that, it wasn't as jokey. It was more of somber tones. The Peacemaker thing. So John Cena is pretty good in this film. He's fucking huge, man. He's huge. Him fighting Flag was a pretty good one. That's how I like, damn, this guy is like just a monster compared with all these other guys. Idris is a big guy, but John is like fucking huge. So with John, Peacemaker, I liked him. He was pretty funny. John Cena does have good comedic timing. He's still alive. I thought he was going to, I was like, even if he's dead, even though they're making a Peacemaker show, it could be like a prequel. So I was like, I mean, I'm not shocked he's dead, but he's not dead, so he's coming back. Maybe Polka Dot Man escaped that because he said that like his polka dots are like dimensions, so maybe he's still alive. That's how I'm thinking about it. So John was pretty good. Weasel's still alive, which is pretty funny, but not funny knowing that he's out loose, and they already said he killed like fucking 5 to 6 kids. Then there's the kids thing, right? The children. Think about the children. Harley Quinn killed Robin. Everybody's going to keep using that. Harley Quinn is... she was talking down to El Diablo in the first one. Like, dude, you killed Robin. So, I did like how they kind of used the advantage of the disc drive, screwing Waller over, gaining the freedom. So there's a lot of good things here, man. There's more positive than anything negative. There's only a few negatives I have with it. like I said, it's a little bit too long. It's 2.5. It's 2 and 13 minutes, I believe. 2 hours and 13 minutes. Could have shortened up. Could have been edited a little bit more. Music choices really good. Phenomenal music choices, like James Gunn as always. I just feel like I want score though. As much as I like music and I like them getting the rights to these musics, give me some score, man. I mean, what the fuck happened back in like John Williams' score elevates films. And I'm not necessarily saying that licensed music doesn't do that, because it does. But there's something a little different when you have a score. And it's a score that is your own, especially a theme that's your own. So I'm a little disappointed. Like, I know that's James Gunn's shtick, but I'm kind of sick and tired of hearing licensed fucking music. That was the problem I had with the first movie. Give me a score a little bit. I mean, these guys work day and night, and they're able to create just fucking masterpieces. So give them a chance to create a masterpiece on that score. We did have a little bit of it in the film, which I really appreciate. But, I just would have liked a little bit more score other than licensed music, which I know that's James Gunn's thing. But give me a little bit of a balance, So still didn't get too much. Like, I got more camaraderie in this film than the David Ayer film, of course, because David Ayer, that's not even his film, honestly. I got a little bit more camaraderie, especially with Ratcatcher 2 and Idris Elba's character. I was a little weird with Rick Flag and Idris Elba. Like, that's why I wanted Rick to live, so I could see a little bit more of that. You knew he was going to die when he was fighting Peacemaker because of his whole spiel. And that was a little odd, too. I don't know. It felt a little conjointed a little bit. It just felt like rushed a little bit on that ending when he's with the Tinker and he's learning the whole thing, and then the betrayal and all that shit. Just felt a little weird. It felt a little like it just didn't. It needed to slow down a little bit, and it just felt like it went too fast. I don't know. It was a little odd. But all in all, man, I mean, I think James Gunn knocked it out of the park on the Suicide Squad, because I had a lot of fun, especially in the beginning. It does slow down in some moments. But it really embodies a great Suicide Squad movie. It really embodies the Suicide Squad name, I would look absolutely forward to another Suicide Squad film. I would like some characters to return, but bringing on a different crew. A little bit, so about the camaraderie, maybe a little bit more time of them kind of. They do go kind of like King Shark almost eats Ratcatcher 2, but I would like, I don't know, I would like a little bit more interaction of the characters. So like Polka Dot Man, I would like the more interaction with Ratcatcher 2, or King Shark, more interaction with John Cena, because those scenes are really good, and you can feel the chemistry right there. I do love how King Shark makes a little Peacemaker kind of bomb, and I thought that was hilarious. So a little bit more of the interaction of that, and you got more of that camaraderie. You still have it here, but it could have reached a little bit more potential to it. So Suicide Squad 2021 is a fun, really well done, well written, well acted. Oh, the acting was phenomenal. Film. It's a really well done film. It's a film that Zack Snyder should go take a look at and see what jokes work and why they work, and why, motivations, and why characters' deaths happens. Like it's James Gunn knows what he's doing, and you could tell by the work he does, especially in this film. He's in the lines of like Edgar Wright to me. He's like that. Because you do see a lot of these quick cuts. He does do a little Zack Snyder thing where he zooms in on a frame. It has like that zoom in where it's steady and it just zooms. A lot of the Man of Steel kind of stuff. But then like later on, you don't get that. You get more of a stationed camera, but you get a lot of you could tell that James Gunn gets a lot out of his actors, which is great. And I do think it needs to be shaved a little bit. I think you could condense this 2 hours to maybe an hour and 50. I'd go an hour and 50, but the pacing's still pretty good at a lot of parts. So Suicide Squad 2021. What do I get? I give it an 8.5 out of 10. And I highly recommend you either check it out on HBO Max or the movie theater. This time around, I watched it on HBO Max, and I enjoyed it. I thought, it usually I go to the theater, but this is the type of film that I actually think people would enjoy on HBO Max. I don't think you have to go to the theater on this one. I would recommend going to the theater to support your local theater. But for a film like this, I think you can still find enjoyment streaming wise on this one. There's some films this year that I said you gotta go, like Black Widow. I think it's a given. For a Marvel movie, go to the theater. For like Godzilla and King Kong, big epic fight, you go there. Here, yes, you have that Starro ending. You have this big kaiju, but it doesn't bring anything to the table that warrants like a huge ass screen, like maybe like Godzilla versus King Kong. But it's still, you'll enjoy yourself either way. But I do think streaming wise, I think a lot of people would like to be a little bit more comfortable, and I think they would actually enjoy the film more being comfortable at their own film or at their own home. So just grab some popcorn, and have a good time. But if you do go to the theater, let me know in the comment section, because like I always say, grab a tick, grab a seat, make sure you got some good popcorn to eat. I'll see you at the cinema, guys. Bye bye.